The high school hallway simmered with quiet tension, a storm waiting to break. The air was thick with the smell of pizza and floor wax, the sound of sneakers and whispers echoing off metal lockers painted in fading red and blue. Sunlight slanted through tall windows, cutting across the floor in harsh lines, and in that golden glare, time stopped. Students froze, phones lifted, hearts pounding. Every screen pointed at the same scene. At the center stood Miss Elena Harper, a 22-year-old English teacher whose calm presence could silence a room. Her soft brown hair was tied in a neat bun. Her cream blouse was spotless, for now. Across from her towered Jake Carter, the school's star linebacker, 6'2" and all arrogance, gripping a strawberry milkshake like it was a weapon. The smirk on his face said this wasn't a prank. It was a performance. The crowd waited. They could sense it, something about to explode. Elena's eyes met his, unflinching. Jake's grin faltered, just for a heartbeat. And then he said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Jake, hey, Miss Harper? Think you're better than me, huh?" His friends snickered behind him, phones recording, feeding off the chaos. Elena didn't answer. She just watched him. Calm, steady, unreadable. Jake shook the cup. Pink liquid sloshed inside. "Jake, let's see how powerful your words are now." With a cruel flick, he threw it. The milkshake burst against her blouse, splattering across her shoulders and face. A collective gasp rippled through the hallway. Someone laughed nervously. Someone else whispered, "Oh my God." The cup hit the floor, rolling to a stop. Jake grinned. "Jake, how's that for power, Teach?" But Elena didn't flinch. She didn't cry, didn't yell. She just stood there, soaked, silent, and terrifyingly still. Then, in a voice low enough to cut through the noise like a blade, she said, "Elena." "Jake, you just made a very big mistake." The crowd stilled. Jake blinked, uneasy now, but too proud to back down. "Jake, relax, it's just a joke." His tone wavered. Elena stepped forward. Her shoes squelched in the puddle. "Elena, pick it up." Her calm was colder than fury. Jake laughed, forcing bravado. "Jake, you serious?" "I'm not your janitor." But the laughter behind him faded. No one was laughing now. Elena took another step, slow, deliberate. She was half his size, but every movement radiated quiet danger. "Elena, I said pick it up." For a moment, only the hum of the lights filled the silence. Jake shifted his weight, glancing at his friends. Backing down would ruin his reputation, but something in her eyes froze him. He moved first, the wrong way. He shoved her shoulder. What happened next barely made sense. In a blur, Elena's hand caught his wrist mid-motion. A twist, a pivot, and Jake's body slammed against the locker with a metallic clang that echoed down the hall. Gasps erupted. Phones trembled as they filmed. Elena held his arm behind his back with effortless precision, her voice low near his ear. Elena, whispering, "I've faced worse than you, in places you can't even imagine." The hallway fell dead silent. Even Jake's friends didn't move. Then she let him go. Jake stumbled back, red-faced and breathing hard. Elena stepped away, straightening her blouse, her expression unreadable. "Elena, now pick it up." This time, he obeyed. He bent down, grabbed the crumpled cup, and tossed it into the trash. The students erupted in hushed disbelief. Some whispered, some cheered, but everyone knew one thing. Something about Miss Harper had changed in their eyes. She wasn't just another young teacher. She was something else entirely. The secret of Miss Harper. 3 months earlier, Elena Harper had walked into Westbridge High, quiet, composed, and barely older than her students. Her English class wasn't just a subject, it was a sanctuary. She made novels breathe and poems bleed with emotion. To her students, she wasn't just a teacher, she was someone who understood. But no one knew where that calm came from. Before Westbridge, Elena had lived a life that few could even imagine. Born in a small Ohio town, raised by a Marine father and a nurse mother, discipline was her first language. By 16, she was running 5 miles before dawn. At 18, she enlisted and chasing the impossible. The Navy SEALs didn't care about gender. They cared about endurance, focus, silence under fire. Elena didn't just survive the training, she excelled. She earned a reputation, the ghost. the one who could move unseen, strike fast, and vanish. But war leaves scars, the kind you can't see. After years of missions that never made the news, she left. Not because she couldn't handle it, but because she'd seen enough. She wanted to build instead of destroy. Teaching became her mission. Westbridge High, her new battlefield. The fallout. By the next morning, the video had gone viral. Students, parents, even strangers online were replaying the clip. The takedown, the silence, the precision. Hashtags exploded. Milkshake, justice, Navy SEAL teacher, don't mess with Harper. Elena ignored them all. When asked by curious students if she was really a Navy SEAL, she'd simply smile and say, "I'm just a teacher who doesn't like bullies." But the atmosphere at Westbridge changed. The same hallway that once echoed with mockery now carried something else. Respect. The timid started walking straighter. Whispers turned into courage. And Jake? His empire collapsed overnight. His teammates stopped laughing with him. His coach scolded him. Even his father, a hard-fisted man obsessed with pride, looked at him with disappointment. "Father, you think you're tough? You embarrassed this family." For the first time, Jake felt what it was like to be the target. Online, he became a meme. The guy who picked the wrong teacher. But Elena didn't gloat. She carried herself the same way, quiet, steady, teaching poetry like nothing had happened. Except now, her students listened differently. Every word she spoke carried weight. The spark among her students was Sarah Nguyen, a shy girl who hid behind her bangs and wrote poems no one ever read. It was Sarah's poem that Jake had mocked the week before the incident, the one about feeling invisible. Now, Sarah was different. After that day, she stayed after class, sharing her work with Elena. Her poems grew stronger, braver. One afternoon, Sarah looked up and said softly, "Sarah, Miss Harper, I want to be strong like you." Elena smiled. "Elena, you already are. Strength isn't about fighting back. It's about standing tall when others try to push you down." That moment lit something in Sarah, and soon, in everyone who watched her. The talent show. A week later came the annual school talent show, usually a parade of cheerleaders and football players. But that night, the spotlight belonged to Sarah. She stepped onto the stage clutching her notebook, voice trembling. Her poem was titled, "The Ghost in the Hallway." In the hallway where shadows fall stood a woman. Quiet, tall. A king once laughed, so proud, so sure, but the ghost returned and pride was cured. Her words painted that day, the milkshake, the silence, the reversal. When she finished, the auditorium stood to its feet, applause crashing like thunder. Elena sat in the back row, clapping softly, a faint smile on her face. And for a moment, the soldier in her, the ghost, felt peace. Jake was there too, sitting in the shadows, clapping slowly, expression unreadable. Maybe guilt, maybe respect, maybe both. The lesson. Over the next few weeks, Westbridge High changed. The bullies grew quieter, the shy ones grew braver. Even Jake started showing up to class on time, his swagger replaced with humility. No one ever confirmed if Elena Harper was truly a Navy SEAL. She never said she was and never denied it either. She didn't need to. Her actions had spoken louder than any title. Now, whenever students passed that hallway, the one where it all happened, they remembered the day arrogance met grace and lost. Because sometimes the most dangerous person in the room isn't the loudest one. It's the calm one. The one who's already fought their battles and doesn't need to prove anything anymore. And that was Miss Elena Harper, the teacher who turned a milkshake into a moment of justice and reminded everyone that real power doesn't shout. It stands still. Every story leaves something behind. A thought, a lesson, a quiet echo that stays long after the words are gone. If this moment touched your heart, even a little, then you already know why we tell these stories. Because sometimes, all it takes is one act of courage, one small truth, to remind us that the world still has kindness, strength, and hope. There are more stories like this, hidden in hallways, in homes, in hearts, waiting to be seen, waiting to be heard. So if you believe in the power of stories that move you, take a breath, stay a little longer, and hit that subscribe button. Together, let's keep finding the hidden moments, the ones that change how we see the world and how we see ourselves.